Y'all, here's my daily disclosure. My kids and my husband. Y'all, they're playing Mario Kart. So can we all just say a prayer that this video goes okay? Can we just say a prayer, y'all?
The snob life, the homeschooling life,
the boss life,
the non-traditional life, the family life,
telling it how it is, life outside the box.
And if you don't know what that means,
it's the non-traditional mommy.
Baby.
Hey family, it's Danielle, and today for this Monday marriage chat, I wanted to chat with you guys about when does being overprotective turns into an abusive relationship. So if you're interested and want to hear more about this topic, then stick around and check out the rest of the video. Before we jump into this video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danielle and I am the non-traditional mommy. And on Mondays, we do marriage chats and marriage challenges, all things relationships. So if that interests you, hit the subscribe button and join my little family. To the rest of my non-traditional family, let's all say it together for the people in the back. You guys are the MVPs and I love you bunches. Now, let's dive into this topic for today. So you guys, the other day, I was reading something and it was talking about my boyfriend or my husband being overprotective. And this is a word that I hear a lot from a lot of women. Rather they're married, in a committed relationship, in a new relationship, or whatever the case may be. That word overprotective tends to come up. And a lot of times it'll come up in what is said in a way that they're saying is kind of like playful or like it's a good thing, like, oh girl, he's so overprotective of me, or he's so jealous, and it kind of comes up in this playful way. And so the question became, when does overprotective and being jealous cross the line and turn into abuse? And my answer to that is the moment it becomes overprotective and jealous. And let me explain to you guys why, because I know there are going to be some of you that's like, what? You can be overprotective and not abusive. Yes, you can be overprotective if you're a parent and not abusive. And yeah, you can be jealous and not be abusive. However, there's a thin line with the jealous, and we'll get there with that in just a second. But you cannot be overprotective in your relationship and there not be abuse there. The two just tend to go hand in hand. Let's talk about the idea of being overprotective. So the idea of being overprotective from a parent standpoint is to keep your child safe, to protect them from things that can harm them, to make sure that they live through adulthood, to try to protect them from, the world and getting their feelings hurt and disappointments and things like that. So you take a baby, if the baby is crawling to the edge of the bed and you jump up and you try to, you stop them, someone could be like, oh, you're so overprotective, they'll be fine. And it's like, no, I don't want them to fall off the bed and hurt themselves. Or if you're anything like my husband, I don't even know why we take our kids to the playground, because every step of the way, he is like right there. They're doing the monkey bars and he's like, oh. And they're like 8 and 9. And I'm like, babe, it's okay. Very overprotective. But he is trying to ensure that they don't break an arm or break a leg or whatever. And he's just very overprotective. Me on the opposite side of that, I am very overprotective of my teenage daughters. I make sure that they travel in groups. I make sure that they text me. My daughter is driving now. She needs to send me her location at all times. And I am very overprotective. There are people that will look at that and say, that's too much. She's 17. She shouldn't have to do that. But that is my way of making sure that she stays safe, she stays protected, I know where she is at all times, and things like that. For me, I'll use one more example of a parent being overprotective. For my mom, anytime I would go out on a date, all the way through till I got married, I would have to send her like the license plate number of the person that I was going out with, the type of car and model. And she always told me I had to have $20 in cash on me. Now, of course, that amount probably has changed, but that was so I could take a taxi if I needed to get, where I needed to go if I needed to leave them. And so some people were like, you're like 22 and you're still telling your mom where you're going and texting her. And I'm like, yes, that is a form of overprotective, but you are overprotecting to make sure that nothing happens to the person that you love and you're responsible for ultimately. Now, let's correlate that into an adult relationship, husband, wife, equal players. Now, there are ways that someone could use overprotective in a relationship. For example, me and my husband, one could say I'm overprotective because when he travels, I like to ask him to send me his location as well. And that's because he is a black man traveling through the South by himself in a pickup truck. Just so many things that could target him. And so, yes, I am very overprotective when it comes to those things. I want to know his location and make sure he's safe. And if something happens where I don't hear from him, I at least know his last whereabouts. When he runs, I like to know his route that he's going to run. So he will usually send me that route so that I know. He tells me approximate time that it should take him to run. So if I know he said, okay, this run was going to take 18 minutes, it's now been 30 minutes, that is alarming. So overprotective in that sense, absolutely. However, when most people are using overprotective, it's usually a female, and it's usually the woman in the relationship, and it's usually used in the way of what I'm wearing, where I'm going, who I'm going out with, how long I'm going to be gone, sometimes how much money I'm going to spend, how I wear my hair, how I wear my makeup, the jewelry, so forth and so on. So you will hear women say things like, oh, I can't wear that, it's too short, he's so overprotective, he don't want me wearing, anything that comes above my knees and shows this amount of skin. Okay, that is now crossing over into control, because you are an adult and you can make educated and conscious decisions about what you wear, how you're wearing it, where you're wearing it to, and if you feel it is appropriate or not. So when you have someone coming in that is saying, you're not wearing that out the house, you need to go take that off, that is your partner. You're talking about another adult that is not a parent telling another adult that is not a child to what they can and cannot wear, or where they can and cannot go, or how long they can or can be there. When you get into the things like, where are you going with all that makeup on? It's like, oh, I'm going to meet my friends. No, you need to take this off. Like, you need to go take that off. That's no longer, girl, he's so overprotective. That's alarming. That's alarming and quite frankly scary, because now again you're crossing over into control. And a lot of women will say, he's just like that because he's so jealous. All right, my battery died. Sorry, you guys. So you'll have women say, he's like that because he's so jealous. And it's like, to be jealous to where that jealousy then turns into control because you are afraid that somebody may take me from you, or well, you can't take another human being because I don't belong to you, but I may leave you for someone else. So you are so jealous that now you become uber overprotective, which turns into control, which then turns into abuse, because you need to be able to control me to make sure that I don't do anything, or to make sure that I do not leave. Does that make sense, you guys? And so the way to have that assurance that you're not going anywhere is to control me. And the way to control me is to be overprotective and sometimes abusive. Then typically, or what happens is, if that overprotectiveness and control doesn't get the results that I need or I want, then it's going to turn into maybe verbal abuse or physical abuse. A lot of times, overprotectiveness is already a tiny form of mental abuse, and then it just grows and grows and grows. So that's kind of how that pattern works. I hope I explained that right and that makes sense for you guys. So an example of that would be, you're not wearing that dress out the house. It's too tight, it's too short, it's too revealing. You need to go change clothes. Or say the first few times you think it's cute, he's overprotective, and he's so jealous, he's overprotective. Let me go change my outfit because he's just so overprotective. And you do that. The mental abuse is the fact that I'm able to say to you, and I'm not your father, I'm not your mother, and I'm able to say to you, that's too tight, go take it off, you're not wearing that out the house, and you do it without hesitant. That is a form of mental abuse, because who gives this person the jurisdiction to tell you as another adult what you can and cannot wear out the house? Does that make sense, you guys? And your only reason is not because you're trying to protect me, it's because you're trying to protect yourself, and you have a fear of me leaving you. That's that little bit of mental abuse. And then it turns into verbal abuse when it becomes things like, you look fat in that, that's ugly, you don't look right in that, nobody wants you anyway but me. I don't know why you're always trying to wear clothes like that. And now we're in a form of verbal abuse to get you to do what I want you to do. And then of course that verbal can turn into physical abuse, where now I'm just going to hit you or grab you or push you or choke you or restrain you, anything where I physically put my hands on you in order to control you. I don't know what to do, y'all. Like, go outside in my garage, maybe that's what I should do. I'm gonna see if I can ask them to be quiet, to just a little. Let's see if that works. So when we talk about jealousy, because we're all jealous. If you're human, you're jealous. Like, that's just a part of being human. That's an emotion that we all feel, where we feel a sense of jealousy. It's how you react to that jealousy. It's what you do with those feelings that becomes crossing the line or teeter-tottering with becoming abusive or that turns into abuse. So if I feel jealous and I don't know how to place those emotions, what to do with those emotions, how to handle those emotions, and I just don't want to feel it anymore, then I'm going to try to cut out what's making me feel jealous, control what's making me feel jealous, get rid of it, whatever, because I don't know how to regulate myself. If you talk to any woman that is a survivor of an abusive relationship, she will usually tell you one of the signs was he was overprotective. One of the signs was he was so jealous. It usually starts there. And a lot of times they'll say, well, oh, I thought it was sweet, or I thought it was cute, or, you know, whatever. And not realizing that those things are red flags. So with jealousy, you know, if I need you to, I'm blaming you for making me feel jealous versus understanding, internalizing that it's something within me that is making me feel jealous, then how can I, since I'm outplacing it, then I need to control you. So you look great in that dress. You're going out with a friend. I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling jealous. I'm having all of these emotions. I don't know how to regulate. Go take the dress off. Maybe you don't immediately take the dress off. You look fat. You don't even look right. The dress doesn't fit right. You look stupid. You need to take the dress off. That's why nobody wants you. You should be glad that I got you. I'm trying to knock you down so that you don't feel good about yourself, so that I can now feel better. You insist that you like the dress, you want to wear it. So I'm going to smack you up a little bit to get you to take that dress off. So do you guys see how that pattern, and it doesn't, of course, it doesn't go that fast in one setting. It can, but a lot of times it starts very, very small. And so here's the thing. If you are watching this video and you're trying to figure out, is my partner abusive? Am I in an abusive relationship? Because you're not being hit. It's not physical. So you're not really sure. Sometimes it becomes hard to decipher when a relationship is mentally or verbally abusive. But if you're trying to figure it out and you're like, I don't like the fact that he tells me what to wear, how to wear it, or how to wear my hair, or what kind of makeup to, or who I can hang out with, who I can talk to on the phone, when to go to bed, just anything like that. If you're like, is this normal? Is this him being overprotective and he's just jealous and it's kind of cute? Or is this something else? If you're there, if you're sitting there, then it's the something else. It's the something else, because you already feel something in your spirit and your gut that is saying this doesn't feel good. Because overprotectiveness from a place of love, from your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, that feels good. You know that you have somebody that has your back, that will protect you at any cost, that will go to bat for you, that loves you, that has your best interest in mind, that wants nothing but the best for you. It feels good. That type of protectiveness feels good. When it crosses over into abuse, it no longer feels good. It no longer feels right. There's almost this feeling of wanting to rebel from that overprotectiveness, because you have parents who say we're overprotective, but it teeters abuse as well. Same thing, you guys, same thing. And that's a parenting topic though. But when you have a parent that simply is overprotective because they're trying to keep you safe, it feels good. It feeling safe makes you feel secure and feel good. So if you're sitting in this space and you are really feeling just on the fence, like, something doesn't feel right about this relationship. He's saying or she's saying that they love me and that they do, they're just doing this because they want to protect me and they love me and they want to make sure that I'm okay, but it just doesn't feel good. Then it's not good. If it doesn't feel good, it's not good. It's not good. And for those of you who are friends with someone and you find you guys are out and they're talking and they're like, girl, he is just so overprotective. Now, you may have seen this where you're out with your friends and the boyfriend or the husband, the significant other, whoever is calling over and over and over and over, are texting constantly, and they're constantly on their phone, or they're like, oh, let me let them know, or oh, I got to do this, or oh, I got to do that. And it's like constant. And you're like, man, he's like blowing you up. And they're like, he's so overprotective. Y'all know he's so jealous. Don't let that roll off, you guys. Don't let that roll off. Push. Ask more questions. Go a little deeper. Ask them to explain what that looks like. Make them give you more information, because sometimes saying overprotective is just they don't know what other word to use, and it could literally just be that they really do want to know that this person is okay and safe and that they're worried. Other times they use overprotective, but it's really teetering abuse and it's control. And so getting more information and more details and digging deeper to try to understand exactly why they chose that word or what's going on can maybe save your friend's life in the long run. And so don't just laugh and giggle that off and move on to the next topic, but maybe maybe stop your brakes right there and say, what do you mean overprotective? And so when you hear that word overprotective and it's being referred to as a friend, partner, spouse, husband, wife, significant other, pause. And I want to say this for parents too who have dating kids, because a lot of times you'll see parents or you'll hear parents say, I had no idea that this was happening to her. I had no idea that he was abusive. I just didn't know. But the language from the person being abused was there, and we just missed the language. If your daughter is like, oh, he keeps calling, I need to go answer. Wait a minute. Let's talk. Why do you need to go answer? And why does he keep calling? And let's get more details and more information and trying to understand this. And just really hearing the words. You have to be paying close attention to the language, because the language matters. So to kind of wrap all this up and pull all this together, when you're in a mutual relationship and you have a person that is your equal saying or being overprotective, you have to question, is this protecting me or controlling me? Because that is two totally different things. There is protecting and then there is controlling. And so which one is this? Overprotective, again, you guys, it feels good. You feel safe, you feel secure, you still feel like yourself, you still feel like you can do everything you need to do. You feel like an adult. You don't feel like your parent being parented by your significant other, because a parent may say, you're not leaving this house with those shorts on. A parent might say that, But for a significant other to say that, you're not my dad, you're not my mom, you don't get to tell me what I can and can't wear. So it doesn't feel like you're in this hierarchy relationship, whereas control feels like that. That's control. A parent controls their kids to a certain degree. We have a level of control, so to speak. We can say, you're not wearing that out the house because you live in my house and I make the rules, and this is a rule in my house. Now when you move out, you can wear what you want to wear. You know, there's that level of control. We can say, be home by 12 o'clock. You need to be home. This is your curfew. We can say, these are your chores. There is the level of control because there's that difference in hierarchy, and we're not equals. So is it being protective? Which most rules, not all, but that's another video, but most rules that parents lay are rules that are to protect the child, to help them become successful, productive citizens and grown-ups and parents and people and whatever. So these things have been put in place to protect and to serve and to help. So does this feel like they're protecting you? It's serving you? It's helping you? Or is it just simply controlling you because I feel jealous and I don't know how to regulate myself? What are your guys' thoughts on overprotective, control, jealousy, those kind of things? Give me some examples. If you have examples of a time where if you called it overprotective, but it was really control, or you felt like this person was trying to control you, but they really were being protective, kind of give us some examples in the comments below. Share your thoughts with us. Any advice, any experiences that you may have. If you have any more questions around this particular topic, or would like for us to talk about something a little deeper, then leave that below as well. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would like to see some more marriage chats and challenges and things like that, check out some more of my videos by clicking here. And if you're still here, that makes you an MVP, which means you gotta join the family and hit the subscribe button. To the rest of my family, I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.